What is good, ladies and gentlemen? We are standing on Tutorial Island, which can only mean one thing. Yes, we are starting a brand new series, brand spanking new. In this video, we'll be going over the rules of the series, kind of generally what we're going to be doing here. But before we do that, I would like to give a massive shout out to my boy One Chunk UIM for giving me the idea, and then a shout out to Jack RS, Swifty, John, and Aaron for helping me build on top of the idea. Wouldn't have been able to get where I am without them, and we are going to get this started as soon as possible. I'm super excited to bring you this brand new series. You may be wondering what the series is called. The series is called the Beastiery. We're going to be going over the rules, the idea, the basic premise. This is kind of going to be the syllabus for the entire series. So, what is the Beastiery? Great question. On the OSRS Wikipedia page, there is a list of every single monster in the entire game. It's called the Bestiary. Well, we're changing up. We're calling it the Beastiery because we're going to be slaying a lot of beasts. The basic premise for the account is to kill every single monster in RS 1,000 times in order. So we're going to be starting from chickens as a hardcore Iron Man, going all the way up to Verzik, which is the highest level monster. I think it's 1524 or something along those lines. All the way through them. We will be killing almost every single monster 1,000 times. There are going to be a couple stipulations. We'll get to that later because it just doesn't make sense, or it's just not possible. Let's get right into it. A couple of the smaller stipulations are going to be things that are just cosmetically different. For example, the peasants for Freaky Forester, people on Miscellanea, men and women that are the exact same monster but just have a backpack on or a staff. So we'll be classifying those each individuals as the same exact monster and only need to kill one of them 1,000 times before we move on. Now, if they are a different level, say there's a level 2 man and a level 3 man, which are basically the same exact thing, but there's a combat level difference, that doesn't matter. We're still killing it 1,000 times. It's just if they're the same exact level, but there's just a cosmetic difference, we won't be killing those 1,000 times. We'll only have to kill one of them or a conglomeration of them 1,000 times. Now we're going to get to our current, and I mean current, total exclusions. The first one being Revenants. First of all, I'm somebody, probably just like a boomer idea for me, but I don't really think that Revenants should be in the game, and especially for an account type like this, I feel like Revenants have way too overpowered drops to be something that I would want to incorporate into the series, simply because it would probably super devalue what I'm doing on the account. I mean, the Revenant imps drop like dragon and rune stuff, and I feel like I shouldn't be able to get that at combat level 7, so I think we are going to be skipping Revenants for the time being. I think maybe once I have everything on the drop table unlocked other than, you know, the wilderness weapons, maybe I'd consider it then, but that's going to be something that's up to the community. The second total exclusion will be quest NPCs. Many quest NPCs are not replicable, and if they are, it's only in Nightmare Zone, which they are replicable in, so we are going to be excluding those. I could do the 1,000 kills for Nightmare Zone, but I don't feel like that's important for the series. I really want to get a deep understanding of each monster's drop table, even though there's going to be like rats and spiders who drop absolutely nothing. I still want to kill those 1,000 times, but the things in Nightmare, it's an instance area. It doesn't bring anything for the account. It would only give me Nightmare Zone points. So for most, if not all quest NPCs that are not easily replicable, we are going to be skipping those as well. A couple of notable quest NPCs that we 100% will not be skipping is like the Black Knight Titan, who's a part of the Holy Grail quest because he has an actual real drop table, or like the big snakes from the RFD quest where you can go into the little dungeon and kill those snakes 1,000,000 times. I think it's going to come by a case-by-case basis, and I'll make sure that it makes sense to what we're doing. But for the most part, quest NPCs will not be done repeatedly. Now, there will be a couple of partial exclusions as well. So, key-based monsters, Obor, Bryophyta, Skitizo, I'm sure there's going to be a couple others. We only need to kill them 250 times rather than 1,000 times, because I fully believe if we tried to kill them 1,000 times, that would probably take like 6 months a pop, and that's not really what this is about. We want to get a good idea of the drop table, but not take forever to do things. If that's something that people want to see, I would consider doing it 1,000 times, but I feel like for the motion of the series, we could only do up to 250, or The other thing I was thinking is we'd go up to 250, and if I hadn't gotten their special drop yet, like the Hill Giant Club or the Bryophyta Essence, we'd continue on until we got that, and then once we got that past 250, we could stop. The other ones being Jad and Zuck. They are a big boss, but only have one drop that they give repeatedly 100% of the time. I figured we would do Jad and Zuck until we get the pet from them. I think that would make the most sense for the series as well. And then our final section for partial exclusions will be on what I'm calling Final Boss Big Loot. So this would include stuff like God Wars Dungeon, Barrows, Nightmare. There's a million different things. The fight caves, like Jad and Zuck, where there are minions that you have to fight to get to the big boss. So, for example, Bandos has minions in the Bandos room. We will not be doing the minions in the room because obviously they are a lower combat level than Bandos until we have the level for Bandos, and that will stay consistent for anything else that we come across like that. I think that's the best way to do it rather than doing really odd, weird things to get where we need to go, and I think it'd be more exciting to have to wait to get to those higher level monsters before we could complete them. That's how I'm going to stick with it. I think that's the best rule for those types of things, because in Nightmare, there's like level 20 zombies walking around in Nightmare, I think, and it wouldn't make sense to go into Nightmare and kill those level 20 zombies and then not kill the actual boss, or like raids, how you can kill other bosses in raids which are lower level than Ohm. But what's the point of just going in and killing those bosses and then leaving? There's no point. So that's why we're going to be doing it that way. I think that is the best way to go about doing that too. You might be thinking to yourself, how the heck is he going to do Slayer? My best solution to Slayer, and I think it's really the only way to go about doing this, is to do tasks once I do need to kill a Slayer monster. Say we run into, I don't know, Banshees, which are level 23. Obviously, we're not going to have the Slayer level for that because we can't say, hey, Slayer task, man, I want to kill these monsters 1,000 times for Slayer XP. So I'm thinking what we do is kill the monsters required for the Slayer level and then go kill the Slayer monster once we have the required Slayer level. Now, there's 3 things that we can do while we're on that Slayer grind. Here are my 3 options. Don't pick up any of the drops for integrity's sake. Totally fine to do that. We'll just grind up to the Slayer level, leave everything on the ground, and move on. Pick up the items, keep track of it, and use money for giveaways, or pick up the items, keep track, and stake the money on my main, and then use that money for giveaways. So, whatever you guys want to do, I'm more than happy to do. If you want me to not drop anything for the sake of integrity, more than happy to. Or if you want me to give the money back to the community, more than happy to do that as well. Either way, I'll be happy. Now, for the more exciting part, the rewards of why we're doing what we're doing. After completing every 1,000 kills per monster, so after we kill chickens 1,000 times, I can do one of 2 things. Train 2 levels in any skill in any way that I see fit. So this could mean once I kill 1,000 chickens, I could go grab a bronze axe or whatever and get up to level 3 woodcutting. And at the end of every 10 combat levels, meaning every 10 combat levels that I kill, like chickens up to, I don't know, the level 10 NPCs, I get a bonus 5 levels to train after that regardless. And option number 2 is to go back and kill an NPC 100 times. I don't really think I'll see myself instituting this rule for a very, very long time. Maybe we finish our 1,000 Barrows chests and then we get there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have full Verax. Well, after I complete every single monster, kill them 1,000 times, I can choose to go back and do 100 more Barrows chests. Now, these are use them or lose them. I can't stack up levels. I can't stack up the 100 kills per monster per time. I have to use them right away after each monster. After each combat level is complete, like once we kill every single NPC that has combat level 1, I gain 1 quest point. Yes, 1 quest point. These are stackable, obviously, because there are quests that are, more than 1 quest point. So I can save these up. I can hold on to them as long as I want. The mini quests or, like D&Ds, such as Stronghold of Security or the Varrock Museum basement, those will also be counted as quests as well. So I can't just go do those off the bat and cheat that way. Those will be counted as a quest as well. Much like at the end of every 10 combat levels for skilling, at the end of every 10 combat levels for quest points, we gain a bonus 5 quest points per 10 combat levels that we complete. And again, that's not my 10 combat levels. That is killing everything from level 1 to 10 combat level, level 11 to 20 combat level, etc., etc. Before we continue on, let's just simply grab our hardcore status. Yes. Slap it on in. And let's make this bad boy permanent. I'm not going anywhere. Wait, what? Wait, you can't make it permanent until you have 1,000 skill level? Oh, that must be new. Okay. Well, we'll be a hardcore temporary, so if you want to hack me and then change that status, please don't. Please don't. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. All right, and then the second portion of the rewards is the fact that any loot that I receive on these grinds, I can use myself immediately, and it won't take away from the skill levels that I gain afterwards. For example, once I kill the 1,000 chickens, I can use all the raw meat that I get from that to train cooking as high as I want to, and it won't penalize me. And this continues on for like pure essence from banshees, logs from ents, seeds and herbs from abbey specs, etc., etc. It goes on. So anything that I get during those 1,000 kills, I can use right away to train my skills without having to worry about anything. Those are really the super basic rules. There's still a couple things that I need to figure out for these rules, honestly. Like, how do we handle pest control, soul wars, temple trekking, slayer? How do you want the drops to be handled? And I'm sure there's a couple other things that'll pop up away that will be highly community driven changes. And I'm going to be asking you guys before I get there to help me out with those changes. But for the time being, those are the rules that we're going to run with. If the 2 levels per 1,000 killed is too overpowered, then we can change it down to 1. But that's from the balancing that I have seen and from the number of NPCs that I've seen, the 2 seems pretty fair to me. So that's pretty much it. Pretty basic rules. Kill everything 1,000 times. After I kill something 1,000 times, I get 2 levels to train, or I can go back and kill something else 100 times. Anything I get from them, I can use to train immediately. Can't kill stuff like Bandos, Barrows, Nightmare, or any of the other final boss big loot monsters until we have the highest level needed. And that's really it. We're going to start running. We're going to go kill 1,000 of a lot of things and get an insane loot table that we can look at and look back on to see truly what RuneScape's drop table looks like. I'll see y'all in the first video at some point. Love you, and I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.